Hello, myself Sunil R Nair, and here basically we are discussing about the attraction objects and the person's generation will go next or will not go next. So that basically is the topic basically which is ongoing, and in this basically we were at the bank investment, and bank investment basically this is that basically it's a one chain basically that chain is of 22 blood groups, 700 planets owners and their investment. That is basically the 800 crore people, and that entire group basically are connected with the set of satellites. And here the basically main thing basically we had discussed, that is the most dangerous thing. That is one example basically we have taken here. That is basically assume that one 50 country basically is giving earthquake in Vadodara city, and suddenly basically 35 earthquake basically happened. Suddenly means basically it's not suddenly. That basically we will discuss why suddenly basically. 35 basically country got the earthquake. That time basically the country basically was passing the energies, passing the power supply. And they have passed with the power supply of 3 months in advance. Now in this between basically the 150 country basically from 150 country 35 country basically got earthquake. So when that basically earthquake basically came, that time immediately basically from the power supply company basically they passed that 35 earthquakes data also to Vadodara city, and due to that basically Vadodara city also basically become unstable, and there basically earthquake basically does not earthquake basically was not happened, but the disease basically got spread. That is basically assume some normal disease basically got spread, like that each and everything basically spread. Now the person basically was from universe group basically. He actually know each and everything basically was designed. So he told that basically, do you have the earthquake data basically on the base of that earthquake basically, which all disease basically gets spread. Then basically answer was basically that is basically the World Bank told that basically yeah, we basically our software company groups basically have it. So they basically contacted basically this they basically never don't know basically because they are not technical. Technical basically they are into the investment banking, that how to create the city, which type of products basically are there. That basically they were knowing. But this type of thing basically they asked their software companies basically who are connected with the software who are connected with the World Bank. Then the one of the software company told that yeah basically we have that software basically the government basically has given us the order long before, and like this basically government told that basically we are doing the work also. So like this government given the order long before basically of this software basically, that according to the magnitude basically when the earthquake basically comes, that time basically, and the power supply basically is coming from that city that countries only. That time basically the earthquake basically come from that country only. That time basically which all are the disease basically get 100% going to spread in the Vadodara city. And one person basically literally asked the question basically in Vadodara city basically this way basically earthquake can happen basically. Then he told that basically yeah 100% the earthquake can basically happen, but that depends upon the particular magnitude basically. Then he told that basically, then he told that basically one magnitude also basically can give the earthquake in Vadodara city, but that is basically the country basically. That depends upon the country basically, which are giving the main power supply to the Vadodara city. On the base of entire Vadodara city, each and every buildings basically are stable basically. Then he told that you have the country name basically. Then he told that basically that only Universe Group basically have. They are only basically passing the power supply basically, and they only say that basically this country power supply today we are going to pass that country power supply, we are going to pass that after one day basically. Like this basically the data of the power supply also basically is connected with the satellite groups basically. So each and everything basically he told that basically it's very critical basically and very dangerous also. He told that basically the reason behind this is the earth planet is moving ahead. Ahead means it's going it's moving to the front side basically of the universe basically. That's why basically we need to control the earth planet, and earth planet basically is supposed to move also basically. That's why basically we use this type of chaining system basically. That's why we only passes the power supply to each and every cities basically. Even basically the nuclear power company can't basically able to track that in Vadodara city basically which country basically are giving the power supply, which country basically are giving the power supply. Then he told that basically softwares are basically there. No? They are basically giving the information of each and every country. Basically, this country is giving power supply today. This country is giving power supply today. Then basically, have you seen that really basically that this country is really giving the power supply? Then he is told that basically how basically you can verify that basically the real basically country is giving, this country is only giving the power supply. Then he told that basically you can create few energies in that country and that send that energy in the power, in the form of the power supply. For example, the famous in basically USA famous university is Harvard. So just pass that Harvard University data to Vadodara city, and when the Vadodara city basically will take that energy and assume that they are basically told that basically whenever the Harvard University energy is going to pass, that time basically Vadodara city is going to generate onion energy basically. That time basically they are going to generate onion energy. That time basically they are going to generate onion energy. That also basically this group blood groups are only going to generate the onion energy. Like this basically you can track it. Na? Then he told that yes, yeah, basically you are basically 100% correct. You are basically very 100% correct. Like this, basically each and every country says that basically we are sending the energy, we are sending the power supply data, and according to that, basically if any situation happens, any situation gets changed, then basically that change information also basically we have to pass. Change information also we have to pass. So like these things basically got into picture basically. So like this also basically the things basically came into the picture. So one person basically literally asked that in this world basically whatever disease basically comes, that is due to this power supply only. Then he told that basically 99 percentage it's like this only. 1% basically that depends upon the country's blood cells groups processing data basically. So that is 1%, but mostly 99 percentage basically comes each and every disease like this only. Then few people should say that's why basically the solar system basically started. Then they told that basically solar system also basically having lots of errors basically. In solar system basically they says that basically we are taking certain level of energies from the sun solar system, and few energy basically we are not taking. Sun solar system means he told that sun basically is just giving the light effect basically in the environment, and from environment basically in for example in Vadodara city basically there are around assume that there are around 13 lakh solar system basically available. 13 lakh solar, 13 lakh basically house basically is having solar system. So they told that basically sun is basically just giving the light effect, but the solar system basically is designed in that way basically from the environment basically which all energy we have to take, that basically solar system only decides. Now then basically he told that his solar system connected with internet, some computer basically. Then he told that yes, basically it is connected with one computer only basically. He told that which computer, which is that company basically who is basically handling this solar system. And then one person basically literally asked the question basically, can solar system basically hijack one house and basically he can supply the power supply? Then basically he told 100% basically it is possible. For example, one house basically is getting for example, anybody says that we want to do some very critical task and the government basically is not supposed to track this also. So this type of activity government don't have any don't have any device also basically that government can track this. For example, I will take one example. Assume that solar system basically is just running near the house of one person basically, and that solar system basically is taking certain level of data basically because he want they basically has literally planned that they are going to send one power supply data to that particular house. So according to that basically the power supply house basically has taken that type of data only, and they basically when the time basically came that time basically they that company basically that solar system basically hijacked that house power supply and sent his power supply data basically his power supply basically data was sent. And like this basically they told that basically like this basically even power company told that we basically was not able to track that. Why? Because we don't generate any log file. The data basically which we are passing after the data basically which is passed and after the process basically happens after that basically we don't generate any log files. So for that basically we were not able to track that hijack which was basically done by the sun solar system. So like this, basically this person basically was shocked actually. What actually he is telling, what actually he was telling actually. That basically the person totally was basically confused basically. That what actually he want to say. He want to say that basically that particular house power supply which was he was getting that basically was getting from the solar system for few time basically. In that few time basically they have done their task and they left. Like this basically nobody in this world basically can't track the actually what happened. A few people says that basically this was a power supply company basically. Then he told that basically it was not possible basically the power supply company was, it was not possible basically the power company was. That's why few people says that we had tracked this country power supply, we had tracked this power company supply, but we were not able to track that from where actually the data basically was came of that particular 5 minute. Then he told that basically that it was sun solar system basically it hijacked the system basically. For that basically computer system basically like the company like GSFC is there, ONGC is there. They basically have this, created this type of softwares basically because they are basically actually passing the data to the power supply company, and they know basically that this type of power supply if we are going to pass that time basically we can do the hijack to that particular house. So according to that the ONGC basically passed the power supply data, and that time only basically the sun solar system basically hijacked that particular house and done his task just within 5 minutes, and he basically literally left. That was basically one software company basically who basically told that basically we can do anything basically for in the name of God, we can do anything basically in the name of God. So like this, basically they send the message in the log file and they left. Like this, basically the through sun solar system, basically somebody hijacked the data of the power company basically because power company was getting data from the ONGC, IPCL, AIMS Oxygen and Reliance. So like this, basically this all and Tata Power is also basically there. They told that basically we are getting from this data basically from the power company basically like MGVCL and GEB. Basically they are telling that we are getting actually data from this company basically that are basically ONGC, AIMS Oxygen and IPCL and Reliance basically. Like this Tata Power is also there. They are basically actually passing the data to us, then only basically we can give you the power supply. But that basically we don't know that sun solar system basically has created this type of system basically, but without ONGC and this type of companies basically approval, hijack basically was not possible. So they basically given the approval so that basically you can hijack that particular house for just for 5 minutes. After that, leave immediately basically. Then we will basically there is no system also basically created which will say that basically from block file basically we can able to track that that sun solar system actually hijacked that house basically for just for 5 minutes and done his task and left. Like this basically the solar system basically says that basically we have basically done that achievement was just within 5 minutes. That achievement basically was done by us. Like this basically USA basically told that basically yeah, this all basically thing we all know basically, but that the log file which basically was generated which was basically not generated, that actually system basically we have not created. So that system basically we will create, and like this basically next time if any hijack will happen, that time basically we will able to track that, we will able to track that. Then basically the USA basically told that basically then basically we need the each and every data basically which ONGC, IOC, IPCL, Reliance basically AIMS, Oxygen groups are basically supplying to the power company basically. So that data also basically we need each and every data basically. Then this company basically told that basically sorry we can't give that data basically because this data basically keeps on changing, and this basically data depends upon the that example basically I have given that 7 lakh birth basically which is going to happen, 11 lakh birth basically which is going to happen. That is the future plan of the Vadodara and Ahmedabad city, that this 11 lakh basically birth which is going to happen, and in universe basically we have created certain level of space. So from that space basically which the universe space basically where the space is basically allocated by the satellite group, from there basically we are getting the data. So we can't basically give you the share this type of data. If you want that data basically directly contact with the satellite group basically, because the rule says that basically you can't share the data. So if you want the data basically then you can ask the satellite groups, then they basically give you the data basically that which kind of data basically you from universe group basically we are passing that we require these all types of energy basically from this 7 lakh birth basically and from the 11 lakh birth basically which is going to happen and going to create the future stories. That is 335 sorry 300 areas basically are created, and 355 area basically which is created in Vadodara city and in Ahmedabad city. So like this basically that story basically which we have created, and the city also basically exists because the story is 100% going to generate, 100% going to generate, because you can't finish that 300 cities basically, sorry 300 areas basically, that is not possible. And you can't finish that 535 area in Ahmedabad. Like this basically the thing was basically there, we can't take the risk basically, we can't take the risk. Like this basically they told that basically we are 100% going to generate this energy, that is basically sorry this kahan, that is this story basically, that is the story of 7 lakh child which is going to get the birth, and 11 lakh birth basically which is 100% going to happen, and they are going to generate this story only. We can't basically change the story, right? Because this story basically is created by the Bollywood group and the Hollywood group, and the Hollywood and Bollywood groups basically told that basically we have created this story basically on the base of satellite data basically. That space basically, you remember that universe space basically which was allocated by the satellite groups, and that is basically marked in brown also. Yeah, that basically we remember. So that basically is the story basically, that is the basically story basically which is going to generate, and which story basically data basically the power supply data basically. Now basically one person told that the power supply data which the ONGC, IPCL, these all are basically passing, they are basically passing from universe. Then basically they told that basically yes, basically, but the data basically are 3 month ahead basically, 3 month ahead, and the basically the process basically happens. Lots of things basically happen, and then only basically you gets the power supply data. Because he told the reason behind this is when the Earth planet is going to move that side, that time basically this whole data basically we required. So Earth planet basically is never ever basically going to change the direction of his movement, so the things basically which is setted ahead, that is basically in whenever the Earth planet is going to move that side, and the setting basically which is already done basically by a set of groups, that 100% is going to happen. Then basically one person told that basically you remember that in sky basically one dot is moving. Yeah, yeah, that entire universe basically is moving. That is also going. That is also basically moving in the front side. Yeah, basically that basically we basically never able to track the end of the dot. Basically, we are basically as per we are moving the basically some satellites, some planets. Basically, we are getting. That's why basically we are not able to track the end of the dot. Basically, so the dot before the dot basically the areas are basically there. They are basically also setted by set of condition. What? Yes, basically. So that is the thing basically, which is going to 100% going to happen. Then one person told that basically that 11 lakh basically the birth which is going to happen, that is 100% going to happen. Yeah, basically it is planned basically. We have allocated the universe space also basically. And for that basically World Bank basically has issued the lots of money also. And lots of city basically has been lot of city basically has done the lots of investment also of this 7 lakh birth, and which is going to 100% happen, and the 11 lakh birth which is 100% going to happen. Whatever has been basically the things is going to happen, but this birth basically is going to 100% going to happen. Like this basically the topic is ongoing. Like this the topic basically is ongoing. Then he told that basically how you track this, that universe basically group is giving the power supply to this all ONGC and IPCL and Reliance company, and this Sun solar system basically hijacked that hijacked that house, and for 5 minutes basically they have hijacked, and they have done their task and they left. How basically you had tracked this? How basically you tracked this? That was basically question basically, right? How basically you track this? So then one basically one of the person told that basically the people basically who created the system, they basically told that basically we have done the we basically have tracked the person basically whose birth house is going to be hijacked. For that basically we have done lots of plan. After that only basically we have done, we have connected to that person also. Like this basically lots of things has happened. After that basically we have hijacked that particular house and sent the sun solar system data for 5 minutes and done our task and left. So like this basically, but is there any source basically that you basically tracked that basically? What is the source basically? How basically you got the proof that basically for 5 minutes the sun solar system basically was has basically done hijacked to that power supply system basically, which was basically coming from universe basically, that space basically, that 7 lakh birth basically and the 11 lakh birth basically, which is 100% going to happen. From that basically the power was basically came was coming, and how basically you hijacked that? That means you have hijacked the universe data. The Sun Solar System group basically told that yes, basically we have hijacked that universal data basically. Then one of the person told that basically that means basically we are going to hijack universe data also one day. Up to that level basically we are going to do. Then basically one of the person told that basically this person basically who created this, he is basically from Bangalore city. The person basically who actually invented the sun solar system, he is basically from Bangalore city, one of the Karnataka state basically, which is known as Karnataka language basically. They basically always speak Karnataka language, Kannada language it is called Kannada language. It is actually called Kannada language. There basically one city is there, that is basically the Bangalore city, and that person basically was from Bangalore city who actually basically created this sun solar system, who created the sun solar system, and he's basically handling everything from one computer. Whatever data basically you want from this solar system area. For example, Vadodara city, there are the 3 lakh solar system basically, and 3 lakh solar system basically data that person is having in the that computer basically. Whenever basically he wants the types of data, basically he's just doing the modification in that computer system basically, and so in that software basically, according to that basically this here basically the sun solar system data basically gets updated, and according to that the data basically are fetched from the environment basically. Then basically he told that basically it's very dangerous. Like this basically you hijacked the sun solar sorry, the power supply data basically. But that basically, that was basically given approval by the ONGC, IPCL, basically your area groups energy company only. They have basically approved us. Then only basically we were able to enter that area. Na? Then basically he told yes basically. So you know basically which company basically was supplying the data that time basically, when the 5 minutes basically the hijacked has happened. Then basically he told that basically is critical basically. Reason basically we have given lots of money to them. Then basically do one thing, na, you contact with the bank basically. Just contact bank basically. We have done the transfer to the online transfer basically. You contact to the bank basically, because bank know basically from for in which bank basically the money has been transferred. That is also basically big level money basically has transferred. Big level money was transferred. So basically it might be recorded in the dictionary of government also basically, because they have basically cutted a few money basically in the form of tax basically. Some tax amount basically they are deducted. So if you want, you can contact to the government also basically. There are two options. One is the banks basically, and one is the tax department basically. You contact that person basically. Like this also basically, it or that basically, like this also basically you can track which basically company basically has given the open the gate for us, and then basically we hijacked about 5 minutes, and we basically attacked that house basically. The things basically which we want to do, that we have already done. Like this, the sun solar system basically told that basically we basically directly basically we have not done that basically. We have done on the approval of that particular energy company. So here basically the thing was basically that computer was exactly knowing that in Vadodara city which energy company is giving the data to the power company. For 3 months data they have already given. So they basically exactly know that basically which energy company is basically giving the data. And India basically, few people say that it's Reliance is there, ONGC is there, IPCL is there, then AIMS Oxygen is there. These all companies are basically power supplying the data to the power company basically. So this only basically can be the data basically. This only basically can be the data. Then one person told that basically it's not possible basically, because few nuclear company basically are also connected with this company, and lots of things are there basically. They even basically Reliance don't know that basically the which kind of data basically they are passing, because they can track those data only which the data basically information is given by the nuclear power company. So they basically told that basically we will track basically whether we have basically given the hijack data or not. Then they basically checked the entire log basically. They told that basically we have not given. But the another nuclear power company told that basically we basically if sometime we basically give that type of data basically which the log also basically can't track. So like this basically just now basically what we have discussed. We have discussed that how basically the sun solar system basically company basically says that we have one computer, and in that computer basically we do all the settings And according to the setting, basically the data are basically captured by the sun solar system in India. Vadodara, basically there are 3 lakh one solar system. So these 3 lakh sun solar system basically are getting the power supply on the base of that solar system basically, which environment is set it from that computer basically, which says that basically we are setting those data which basically is required from the environment, and according to that environment data basically we are setting the sun solar system, and according to that sun solar system data which is setted in the sun solar system chip, and that chip basically gives the power supply to that particular house. So like this basically there are 3 lakh house. So we basically set the data basically, that which type of data basically we want from the environment when the gets raised. Sun gets raised. So basically you want to say that sun basically is giving you some identity. He told that basically sun is giving you some identity, that you are basically directly connected with sun group, sun planet group, sorry sun area group. Then he told that basically no, basically actually I have created the system, but the requirement was given by one of the ISRO and NASA group. The basically requirement basically was given by the son of one of the ISRO and NASA group. Then they told that basically who is that person basically who has given you the requirement. Just tell the person name basically who actually given you the requirement. So like this basically thing is there. So here basically we are stopping, and in next topic basically we are going to discuss the ISRO and NASA group basically, who basically has given the requirement of the sun solar system, which is need to create for particular data, for uh, particular level of task basically they have to do. For that basically they have given the data of the requirement. Data is equal to requirement. So here basically we are discussing that which person basically generation is supposed to go ahead and which generation is not supposed to go ahead. That is basically next level family basically he can start, or next level family he can't start. Basically he can able to start or not. And he told that basically whether I can start the next level family or not. And this all basically plans are done by the one group that actually we are discussing. So in next topic, basically we are going to discuss a little bit more about the requirement which was given actually given by the NASA and ISRO.